darkness, angel of death, AC 130, flying gun, liquid rock. Jim Carrey emailed you. You're not freaking listening to me, alright? That's why I'm gonna get this email. Tell me from Jim freaking Carrey. Let's say. There you go. You get this email from Jim Carrey. You're not freaking listening to me, alright? Not gonna start over. I get this email, which happens to be from Jim freaking Carrey. And Jim Carrey wants to cry on your shoulder about something to do with painting. Just don't want to listen, alright? Jim Carrey freaking emails me, alright? Gives me this call a little bit shortly thereafter. Got this emails always. I don't know how to that was a hot shot to do whatever. Bro, so many now. I swear one little thing. And you stitch together so many and practice stitching together. That took half an hour to do. And it's based on sets that I've done for like 2-3 hours now. That's been pieced together over weeks. Right. Why can't I just do it? Because you're live and you're recording it. You know you're recording it. Oh shit, I'm recording? Oh my god, can you even hear me? I don't even know. Let's take it a little closer. Can you even hear me? Yeah, I can see it spiking. Nice. First time I've done this since I did it on I was in the homeless shelter and I did it for Alyssa. I didn't do it for Alyssa. I did it with Alyssa in mind. Yeah, but I wanted her to see her friend doing well and I wanted to give her something that would help her do well, so I kind of made it do perfect. Yeah, that's true. Not getting an email, can't even get at her. Because my phone was stolen again. So I want to do this right now. So we can do it. Have the motive energy, let's go. Okay. Angel of darkness. Angel of death. Flying gun. Liquid rock. AC Spectre gunship. AC 130. Spectre gunship. Angel of darkness. Angel of death. AC 130. A10 Warthog. Flying gun. A10 Thunderbolt. Liquid tank. Jim Carrey freaking emailed you. That's not what I'm saying, alright? Now I gotta start over. Would you listen to me? I get this email, which happens to be from Jim freaking Carrey. So Jim Carrey emails you. Apparently. And then shortly thereafter I get this call, which sure enough is from Jim freaking Carrey. And you know it's from Jim Carrey. Yeah, he just emailed me about it. I know, I can't really. Imagine in front of people. That's what I'm doing, imagine in front of people. It's okay. I did a little bit. It's getting weird now. Ugh, give it like 10-15 minutes, what do you care? I got enough to be recording this for like 5 days straight. If I delete everything else for like operating system and the ability to record, I get to record for like 5 days straight. And I got a stack of friggin' hard disk drives because it makes sense to me to have a timer. And a hard disk drive allowed me to float a computer by putting everything I wanted to on from one computer, move it into the next computer, then float this one into a floating computer, and then take that one back, and then use that and take that back to any that anymore, and just have my original. And of course I ended up instead with multiple console computers and multiple HRD drives. Over the 15 years I ended up having to do that. And yes, having to do that. Well, why does it say having? If you ever find me funny, beneficial to you, entertaining, or a good friend for even for a moment, and you feel that way, fuck you. Fuck you. No, really. Why do I do that? What do you mean have to do that? That's what I mean have to do that. What I mean. Same reason why I have to create now. There are things we have to do to keep ourselves alive, and for me it was floating a computer that could run video games and me to have telecommunications with video games, because the majority person, so I'm gonna guess you, the majority person couldn't give a shit. And you lie through your teeth. I can't means you don't want to, and you know you can get away with saying I can't, and feel like a good person that you're not. Anyway, so you call it. I've been doing that for years. Now you get to be a part of it. So good for you. Aren't you lucky? And this is called working it. So it's better than sitting on my butt. And I know that would have the space now to do it. I can do it out loud now. The door locks. Thank God for HUD housing. My free for nothing apartment. I didn't do nothing for that. It said it exists for 4 decades with nothing. So I can get like free something. No? Did I qualify for a process? I wonder what the process involved. Don't you want to know? So you get your free apartment. Because it include 10 missing teeth? Mine did. Do you want yours? No, you're fucking dumb. Don't in your mouth. Because I don't deal with it anymore. I'm not allowed to happen. I got 2 ears for listening, I got a brain in between them. Hi. I'm personable. I'm a friendly guy. I work. It's probably like some kind of like mind focus routine that benefit me out of a million of them that would benefit people in general. I could just find one. The warm up for ballet. There's all kinds of great videos for ballet. Most of them got me really quickly, especially if a woman's involved, because you know the emotions will set of a woman and her grace and her beauty doing anything that's beautiful in and of itself, and the practice of motion takes of it. And I think, how will I inspire a person of that nature, that will, that what have you, into my life when I barely manage my own? And I see a guy, and I think, oh, he's the man for her. Or that archetype. I'm weeping for that man. You cried for a man. I'm weeping for that man. I woke up in tears. I woke up in tears. I woke up in tears. I'm weeping for this man. You crying for some man. I'm crying for some man. I'm crying about some man. I'm crying over some man. In fact, I'm even crying with some man. Who is this man? I'm weeping for this man. He gave us his life's blood. He gave us his work. He gave us his toil. He toiled for us for years and years. Some man you ain't even met yet. This man, it don't matter. We've all met this man. We've all seen this man. We've all in a way we've been this man. We are toiling for something outside ourselves because there's something we want that we can't yet have. Just so he could eventually. You still crying for this man. I'm still weeping for this man. I swear to God, it's the light of the day that's upon us now today, this morning. I'm still crying for this man even now before you this very moment. I'm weeping for this man. He gave us a life's blood of toil like the ascetic, walking and collecting alms amongst the villagers and the people taking in orphan boys. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm weeping for this man. He gave to us his life's blood, his life's work, just to be able to touch the very essence of nature, the thing, the truth itself. You crying for Jim Carrey? I'm weeping for Jim freaking Carrey. I'm weeping for Jim Carrey. This man poured his heart out to me last night. So I pieced it together. That's the core nature of it. I'll talk now. Hi, we're doing this differently. We'll just call this CHADMicDUP. Forget it. We'll stitch this thing. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. This is different. Now we got stream beats. What up? We're doing it differently. I even got to curse people out. Hi. No editing. What's up? This is CHADMicDUP. We're doing it a little bit different this morning. this afternoon. It's 2:45. I got back from a long walk. I'm on my chair now. I got back from a long walk, a late morning walk. I was up at like 7:30. I got to bed finally. Must have been. Let's see. I went to my room at 12:45, 1 a.m. I got off of playing a game last night. Today we'll talk about 3 different things. We'll talk about comedy and my advance in the comedy. We'll talk a little bit about games as a holding pattern from the last talk and how quality of life improves. But we'll talk about it kind of in that order. Or in order, anyway. We'll figure it out as we go. I pretend I'm like that Lauren girl who's been popular recently. There's a Lauren lady, I think her name's Lauren Kim, but then her name's like I-R-N-I-N, Julie or something like that. I don't think her name is Julie, I think it might be Lauren. What's she doing? Could be both, I don't really know, you gotta ask her. And then I saw a video more recently referencing that person's video. And that's probably why it was in my feed, because I'm actually using my feed on a video on demand streaming site of no particular name, type of variety of what to win on the blind model. Or YouTube for short. That's a particular name of variety. Anyway, here's hot tea. Chamomile. Chamomile. I enjoy chamomile. I enjoy chamomile. I enjoy honey, vanilla, whichever, either way. Agreed. Stream beats Harris Heller. I skipped over the 2 pixel ones. I don't know if that's recorded in this video or the 2 tester videos because I've recorded that commentary twice and I might have recorded that as this one opened up. And I just want to keep this one flowing anyway. So whatever. I don't know what I said. Did I say some mean things about you while you were listening? I'm sorry. I'm keeping it. I recorded the lying through their teeth. If you want to know what the lying through their teeth is, you gotta go back like 2 videos, like 2 days, like 4 hours of videos. So it's up to you to do it. Maybe you can click a button, and when you could download it, it's like jdownloader2.com or jdownloader2, and then you could download the SRT or the subtitles file, whatever it is, .txt, and then maybe it transcoded it just right enough to optical character recognition, to audio, text to speech, whatever, speech to text portion, characterized light through teeth well enough that you can do that, or you can use like some kind of Boolean operator search where it has asterisks where it gets close enough to light through teeth and kind of like machine code learning find that, and you've like developed a system so you can just like click one button with like a minute spits out that actual momentary, and it's pitchy to that point in the video, but then you don't give me any use of that technology so that I can like automatically make sections of my own YouTube videos, and you do it because you're a jerk. What's up? Surprisingly, I don't do drugs because they'd be effective. What I mean is it make me feel good. And if drugs make you feel good, then your life is drugs, I guess. So I don't want to do drugs. At least that was my thinking as a kid. I stuck to it so far. Anyway. Stream beats Harris Heller. I skipped over 2 videos, 2 albums, and testing playback to set up this video because they were video gaming, so I skipped them. Not because video gaming bad, but because the vibe was kind of off. And so this one is low key. And I might have even recorded that a moment ago. Let me double check that the playback is just low key and none of the other ones. Yeah. The to be played list or queue list. Yeah. Is just low key by Stream Beats Harris Heller. Or the vibe that you get to keep because Harris Heller's system, Harris Heller's content recognition, whatever, has already been sorted out with YouTube and the other ones. So it'll lock and say, yes, it's theirs, and you're good to use it. As opposed to not saying anything and then some other giant company will be like, oh, it's really ours. And you're like, but I live streamed creating that song over like 5 hours of a live stream. It's absolutely mine. You can even watch it be mine. But the giant content farm wins because they were there first and they're big enough money. It's just some person, a thing. Hey. Quality of life in the midpoint, comedy, and then video games, how they tie together, I guess. Also what I just did there. So I had decided to keep that because why the hell not? I did it for some reason. And I guess it became part of the reason. So I got back from my walk and my walk was late. I got up at about 7:30. I went to bed about 12:30. I was playing in a video game, Hell Let Loose, on the Easy Company servers with my boys there and some peoples. And they did a Friday Night Fights, or group up, there was another group up. And we were grouped against with 4 other teams, so I gotta fill out the server. So it's about, I don't know how many players were there, maybe at least 60, I feel like. But the game can manage 50 versus 50 or 100 on World War II high fidelity graphics are really good. I think it runs pretty good. People say it has some issues with how the game runs. It could run a bit better, I guess, maybe more performance. But the idea is that it's World War II, and you can be in vehicles on the ground, or you could be a commander that calls in air vehicles for strikes and recon and stuff like that, but you can't fly in the game. But you can command tanks and trucks and supply vehicles and support and logistics. And the game is broken up for command structure. So there's a commander and a radio-only channel for squad leads. And each unit has a squad lead role as well as the rest of the unit. So recon would be 2 people, a tanker 3, and then infantry squad would be 6, and then the commander alone. And if you create the squad, you're automatically a squad leader. There's a few games like Squad that do that, which are good for squads and playing as a squad, or a squad leader in squad, or Squad 44 / Postscriptum, which is like Hell Let Loose, pretty close. And I have both those games, and they're good games. Anyway, we're playing in a kind of regimented fashion, so instead of just logging into a server, or a server that has its own rules and own vibe, this is a server with its own rules and vibe team against other teams with theirs, and they're like certain rule sets, so we play like a tournament style game that could last 90 minutes or 30. Ours lasted 30. My side ended up pushing really quickly and winning very quickly, so that was our one game for the evening, Friday night. So I kept playing on their servers with them, Easy Company Group, for a while, and then about 12 o'clock my time, went from 6 my time to 12 o'clock. So a good few games, had some fun, had some good chats. I like talking and taking a lot of information and truncating it down and making it really small, and then sending it to what am I uploading? I don't know, this is uploading something apparently. Not my screen though. Then went back down on it. Anyway, I'm like, what am I uploading at half my upload rate? Which is kind of slow, 1.5 megs is my upload rate, but 80 megs down. Thanks Cox Communications, that makes sense. Thanks telecommunications and the government's inability to regulate them and make it a free utility as it should be, which it probably really should be, because it probably really should be, because it probably really should be. People need internet to survive in this world. You do. Maybe an older generation thinks that's funny, or a younger generation that's entitled thinks that's funny. But they all have that, and if they didn't, they wouldn't have a job right now. If they were already locked into a job, they wouldn't have it. And everything about life right now revolves around it. So it should be a public utility, because it keeps you alive. Without it, there's no money coming in, no resources coming in, no connectivity to other people coming in. You don't have internet connectivity by and large. It's very rare as a person who can take those things out, and they still depend on it being around them. They can be grumpy when they have to use it, but they have to use it. I don't know what to tell you. It's one hell of a life change to be able to not be on it, and you can't receive government services flat out. You can't, as you know, and a lot of other issues begin invoking if you don't have internet connectivity. You can't find out about stuff and keep up to it. So I don't know, kind of a big deal. Anyway, side subject. Grandpa's got topics. Plus, Grandpa's a little hyper, if you can tell. Yeah. I'm keeping that opener video in. Anyway, so I retitled the comedy, that ending about weeping. I came up with some weeks ago, after watching, or I guess rewatching, last year. I say this because I think I rewatched it, or I rewatched a clip of it, of Jim Carrey opposite Jerry Seinfeld comedians, and comedians in cars getting coffee, a project work of Jerry Seinfeld's, that I guess is more or less free because the advertising's built into the episode in a number of different ways. I'm not sure actually how it works. I saw it ripped of any kind of advertising as a collection I downloaded or borrowed. Hope you don't mind their Jerry at Company. And if you do, I couldn't care less because it's artwork as far as I'm concerned, and that was your goal, not to make money. And if the money became the goal, then you're not an artist anymore, you're just sort of a revenue stream. So I don't really care. But it's art, that's art, so I wanted to see. And I watched a number of comments, I plucked comments that I knew about and wanted to know about, I guess. I didn't just watch everybody. But I watched Jim Carrey's, and he touches a little bit on the serious notes about fame. And then I think in a small interview clip I've seen of him, or this headline I read, didn't really want to read, but kind of read. He kind of has, he talks publicly about fame or what it's done to him, I guess. He's more open in interviews, he has interviews. I don't really watch those, but I watched this piece because it's an entertainment piece with him, an interview piece, kind of different, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, he paints. And so the concept is that paint is expensive. To have a gallery or a place where you go to paint, and painting is expensive. You have to have some kind of like connection or great talent that's giving you a connection through networking. You can't just, be a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old and be like, I'm gonna paint. Like, you have to have paints given to you and provided. You can't be 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 and have nothing but paints. Like, how did you get the paint? How did you get the food? How did you get the room? How did you get the canvases? How did you get the time? So the concept is that he worked his whole life to be a multi-millionaire so he could finally afford what it is to be able to paint and be an artist, which is a commentary in itself that there's like the starving artist or the wealthy artist, but there's no real in between. You have to starve for it, or you were born wealthy enough with networking that allows you to do it, but there's no like in-between world, what's the in-between world? Does the in-between world have anything to say? If they have something to say, then they'd give everything for it. They give everything for it, and they had to work for it first, or they were born with it. There's no in-between world. There's no like middle class entertainer. Or maybe there is, but the commentary, the idea, is that perhaps there's not. But moreover, that he's worked and starved for the ability to afford paints, and which is expensive. And that was the joke. And I spun that joke up, I feel like before Christmas, maybe November, December time. I just my morning about talking to myself. And I haven't shared this yet in the reboot of the series set. So I jump into character work. I could be cleaning the kitchen in the morning or making breakfast. You're a man of lacking moral character. You're a man of despicable moral character. You're a man of despicable moral character. I'm a man of lower moral character. What is it that I use? Not lower moral character. You're a man of low moral character. Low moral character. Moral character. But I made eggs rubbery. And so that was an example for my character work person to come out and be like, see, there's an example. You're a man of low moral character. I'm a man of low moral character, huh? Yes, because you made the eggs rubbery. Because I made the eggs rubbery. Just the ridiculousness of like some small thing is a proof of a person's character. And then like the characterization of these two going back at, and this one guy with an accent. And I don't know where he's from, but it's an accent, and hopefully I'm not insulting about it, but I'm doing it well enough over time that it's an accent that has meaning and depth and value to it. I don't like the idea of like, you know, soft character, not sobs, but like, I want to do subtle, nuanced character work, and I don't want to be insulting of anything, but taking pride in that nation, that value, that language, that culture, in its translating into English sound. I don't want to do like, you know, poor representations and demean value. The idea is to bring value into these characters and give them something of substance each time, that they have depth and three-dimensionality to them, and they're kind of ridiculous in what they're doing with each other, but the character itself and the culture isn't ridiculous. It's just the topic of being human is ridiculous. That part, like getting an email that happens to be from Jim Carrey. And the other character saying, so you got an email from Jim Carrey. You're not listening, all right? I get this email. Something from Jim freaking Carrey. There you go. And so I could be cleaning dishes, and I take a walk. I try to open the space where they come out, and so I suddenly had to like have Pete Davidson chasing a baseball into a tree and then jumping from tree to tree to tree. That one I came up with in the last week. I'm not hanging out with Pete Davidson. He's been hanging out with me for a while now. I don't know. The guy wants to hit me up for baseball. And Jim Carrey hits me up because he wants to paint with me. Putting them together side by side has been a this week project. Or I've been doing that this week when I take my morning walks. I'm trying to invoke. I have like a window open. I can't force the character work. Fan's gonna go on. I'm sweaty in my streamer shirt and my content creator shirt, like I mentioned last time, I think. So it's not gonna smell here, but if I smell these guys. I'm gonna shave this or pluck this down again. It is a maintenance. The maintenance, I don't know what to call it. Is it called metrosexual or just grooming? I mean, come on, clipping your nails. We need a word for that. Just hygiene. I think we already have a hygiene word. Whenever I saw metrosexual, I'm like, how, to what end? Come on. I don't think what I do is characterization of a word when I just clip my nails, brush my teeth every morning. I don't think that's being metro or anything. It's probably for people that get this part waxed, which, fine, if you do that, you do that. I guess those guys have healthcare. I'm still working on the healthcare part, so I got these tweezers for this. Maybe there's a tax credit that went from the people that that get this dot waxed, that give us like a portion of a better contract for healthcare. Or if the government just gave us healthcare, we just could vote for that one. On the docket today for this presidential election, neither red versus blue versus anything else, just healthcare, yes or no. That's
2020 whatever, election schedule. Healthcare, what do you think? Yes, no? I feel like no. I feel like the no guys are a jackass. What do you feel like? I was born with healthcare. I don't want to pay for somebody else's healthcare. I have nothing to say about that. If the whys aren't obvious, they're obvious for everybody. Is the thing. There's no like, you know. Yes, the whys are obvious. Is that you shouldn't have healthcare when I was born with it because. Moving on. That's not the subject matter. That's not what I'm getting into. Like, I don't want to do certain things and I end up doing them anyway. Well, it's fine. I can edit it out. Nah, that's for the Laura and Kims of the world to do. She'd be editing, as I noticed a couple jump cuts there. The hardcore. When I was straight, you're stuck with me. Fan on, fan off. Terrible audio pickups, me spinning around. Me telling you that you're lying to your teeth, you jerk. If you weren't there, I picked that up by walking outside late at night, and there was a stack of 3 posters. I couldn't make them out, and I put the first one, the first 2, and I think the first 2 were the manga series about basketball players that got popular. Among the manga series of basketball players that get popular, this particular basketball series that got popular enough to be made into a TV show, and then that particular one that got popular enough to be made into a TV show that was popular enough. I'm saying there's a lot of anime and manga. Anyway, that one was there as well, so. It says word happiness. In English. And then something else that could also be the word happiness. Or it could be like, literally anything. It could be nonsense. I took a photo of it, I'll put it online and ask the question. I could type in the word happiness and see it, but I want to make it a crowdsourcing event for commentaries and for other people to discuss. I'm happy as well. Things happen from that angle. You might even meet someone. Could be a friend or more. The way my brain works. Like, go outside today. I can meet my wife. Or I can just stay inside. Stay inside it is. Stay inside it is. That means you gotta hang out with the no healthcare people. The people in my head that don't want me to get healthcare. Outside people better. There you go. I've been over talking or something to do with my voice. So anyway, I was playing a game last night, and then I logged off of that, and I just scanned my Discord to see if people were talking, and I saw some friends, like internet friends, and I thought, you know, after the fact, about half an hour later, the Helldivers 2 came out, which is a third-person co-op, which is you against the AI, wave-based, kind of like Starship Troopers. So there's bugs, but there's also machines, and there's like a third party, I guess humans that are attacking you. I haven't quite seen much of them yet. And I was able to play yesterday like an hour, which was like one long round, about 45 minutes, half an hour really. And then I was in a different group last night, just kind of scanning. I saw them online, saw that they're playing Helldivers, tried to log in, but like the game's been so popular. 250,000 plus people that were playing it as a high marker within the first week now that it's been out, so it's been really successful and good. But I guess that's giving the service some trouble. But then after not being able to play with them, I was also thinking about, you know, these guys never hit me up and be like, hey, how's it going? It's always me just seeing them online in a voice server talking, so then I join and see what they're up to. I don't think once they've ever just been like, come out and be like, and it doesn't mean that they're good or bad people, but that's like the style, the vibe of the group. And I don't know. I think about holding patterns and what it was supposed to be. Oh, my talking pattern to vibe with the music, hold on. And I was thinking about, what these things are to me, you know, who people are in my life, and I'm going a little too hard at the vibe. I want it to be beat poetry now. And I was thinking about, what life means, and I was thinking about us, and you, and me. I was thinking about why. That's a terrible impression of a beat poet, and I've actually seen that in person a couple times. Poetry stuff. It was kind of cool. But yeah, when I say holding pattern, I don't mean that I'm keeping myself there. I mean, it's keeping me above the ground and in motion so that way I can take off again and go from airport hub. But I'm getting refueled, so I'm staying in a holding pattern like a plane's above an airfield. They can't land just yet or something's going on or whatever, so they're kept by the airfield. And I can get refueled and stay there indefinitely. And then move to the phase 2, phase 3. And phase 3 is actualized life. That I came into describing it when I was trying to get through school and getting through school consistently, moving on to career, getting through school consistently and doing well is phase 3. Phase 2 is like getting ready for phase 3 where I'm in school, and phase 1 is school's crashed. Therefore, I'm not in school right now and I'm trying to get into school. Doesn't mean like I'm on winter or summer break or something. I mean school's crashed for me because of body pain issues. And then working out, well, what do I do to stay airborne, to stay focused, to stay up, to stay moving, to stay semi-social, to stay something, because school for me was the only really social thing that I had, even though I was joining stuff and trying and doing things that didn't matter. If you're not being invited and you're not present while you're invited, those few times you are invited, it's like, nobody, very rare is the person that thinks, they need a friend, I have plenty of fun friends, it's time to be a friend to someone who needs one. That thinking is rare. Acting on it and being good at acting on it takes people that consistently do that and study it. And that's even more rare, of course. And so, providing that for others is going to happen. But having it happen to myself. And I would see people would come up to me and they obviously needed a friend or needed me to listen or wanted me to listen or what have you, and so I did. But I didn't have anything to invite them to. And I wasn't like of their personality type that I saw I could vibe with them or how, and typically they were a few years younger than me and stuff like that, and I didn't know how, and their mentality or maturity rate and stuff like that. And I'm like, I can be there as like an older brother type, but I don't know how to like invite them out to things that I'm not first invited to. I don't have anything going on that I'm, sorry. Until last night I was like, while walking away and setting up my bedtime to like have an audiobook going or whatever I'd be doing. In the end, I just watched a comedy cartoon show, had junk food, scoop chip item things with dip and cheese, and then a bit of ice cream. I just called it a night. Not exactly tea and poetry, but that's okay. One step at a time. And I don't just say tea and poetry to be word meaning thing, a thing of not that I want to be associated with. But I think things of depth and value can be things that we don't yet quite do, but wish we did, and it can be true that we wish we did them, and we're right, true, and accurate about doing them and wanting to do them. What I mean by that is I'm not just throwing like a painting on myself because the painting looks nice, but because I think myself already exhibits something true of my own painting, and I have to work on it to reveal it to others and myself. And the part of being true of yourself involves action. And I talked about that the last few times. And emotional things are difficult because of depth and reach of emotions that I can't be a part of, because it takes time to be a part of it. So I can't be a part of it because I don't have the physical things in my life, but I can be near it. I'm working towards it with a window that's open. But sometimes the breeze comes through the window and it's just like I can't bear the breeze. Because the breeze feels like freedom, and I'd rather than still the stagnant the air inside the room, so we close the window ourselves. Lock the window and paint over the window so it can't be opened again so easily or readily. So we're afraid. And we have the darkened out shutters, or the darkened out blackout screen with the window so that the room turns off and there's no essence of light coming through. And then we're safe in that room because it's still and it's consistent and it's the same every time. That familiarity. But it's not good, it's not healthy, it's not true to ourselves. Grandpa becomes the bee poet in the end. Yeah. What of it? What of it? It's not true of ourselves. So I'll argue it's always better to be true of ourselves. Overall, not always, in all cases, in all moments, of all time. That's robotic, and even then, robots don't perform perfectly. They perform as machines with code or software that tells the machine what to do, that's created by humans who themselves are imperfect, and so what we do is imperfect. We come up with axiomatic claims or definitions and symbols within mathematics that by definition are perfect and reason perfectly and true every time, but those are ideas and concepts that are completely cold and indifferent to our observations of them and require us observing them to even first exist, and we're not observing of them, they essentially don't. Or Euclid for short. I think so. As in, I think that statement holds untrue. Not that Euclid is the right term for Euclidean geometry or 13 volumes and axiomatic claims. But that an idea that we're always imperfect, and so even robotic, what have you, is no, we don't always need to be true to ourselves. What? Just the idea of general progress. People need progress. It was a conversation I had with myself while going to a big box store on my Thursday around grandma. And what do big box store sample grandmas have? One thing is they have samples. The other is sometimes granddaughters. But the realization is that they're going to talk to me. So. And their granddaughters would be more like my age group's kids. So, I should say. And sometimes daughters. There you go. Anyway. Most of those grandmas were like 60s, 70s, not quite 80s, 90s. Anyway, moving on. The ridiculousness of the thing continues to unravel. It's important to be silly, funny, and offbeat and off character. Defining of a character as somebody's okay being viewed in those kind of ways and lights, I think. I have a tea light candle, tea light metal wrapper holder right down there. Down there. Down low to my right. I'm gonna get it. Come here, little buddy. Come here. I'm gonna crumple you up and throw you away. You served your purpose. Time to go home. Time to sit in a landfill for the rest of your life. There we go. It's already partially crumpled. Oh man. I haven't been cleaning up that effectively, which is true. You can tell. Wrong side. I'm not a smart person. There we go. I'm sometimes a smart person. Not all at once. Like I said, we can't always be true to ourselves at once. I'm a smart person, but not always. We can't always be true to ourselves at once. All at once, all the time. Can't be most true. Can't be most intelligent most of the time. I'm sometimes intelligent, some of the time. 60% of the time, yada yada yada. And so quality of life comes from realizing who we are in essence. Fan goes back on. And then this is a great high quality video here. This is taking off. Knocking the desk, throwing the fan on. I could barely hear this guy who spit around a minute ago calling me a jerk to my face and saying I had light in my teeth, and I still stuck around for the 38 minutes so far. Good on you. Sorry, not sorry for the light through your teeth comment of the last few days. But we do. We lie through our teeth. We lie through our teeth. We still have them. Actually. Good, you can. So now I feel like it's a little off. The framing. I was setting up the camera and I was wondering if I was going to be able to get it centered again. For some reason I felt like it was really off. And then I was thinking, you know what, I'm just going to record today's and open up with it being off. And then I felt like, no, record the set that I just did. I just did a 20-30 minute walk around 1 to 2:30, about the 45 minutes before I started this video, right? And when I got back, I wanted to like, I did on my phone the voice recording, some portions there of it. And then I saw this and I'm like, we'll record that. And then about 5-10 minutes and I looked and I'm like, no, let's just jump into it. So maybe I'll do portions of that next time, more often, I don't know. Why not? But CHADMicDUP is supposed to be just a re-envisioning of what I can be plus online. Or envisioning of what I've been working on, but online and actually demonstrating it. It doesn't just mean programming or stuff like that if I end up actually doing some of that here on this channel. I got to the part where I named Godot, by the way. I know for some references on this channel, I'm supposed to be working on Godot or the free open source game engines that I can do, the character work that I can in-game. But if I can do it live, why not just do it live? Right? Why would I do game stuff? Or for me, game is like definition of holding pattern. for you, game stuff might be anything in the world that's for you to define. But for me, it's the holding pattern. I want it to be over here, live. And you can do both, by all means. It's meaningful to you and how you use it. But for me, I want to go full out with just one subtle expression of a thing done very well. And I think that's really important and critical to me, my physical health and being. Being alive and active in a video game, combative, while playing, 50 versus 50 and commanding a tank. Hey, you boys seen that light tank? And being on radio and talking. Easy armor to command. We are requesting tasking. We'll do what you tell us to do until then we're moving out to north of contact point. Something like that. I love throwing that voice work out there and jumping into different grizzled styles, like different styles of World War II American tanker. I have a few different styles, but I tend to use that one when I'm online. But I have a few different others that I can hear in my head that I can talk to them or talk out loud as them. But I haven't really done much online in that group. I keep doing that sound. Hey, you boys in that light tank? I keep jumping up to that one for a reason. In Helldivers, I had this whole other grizzled one, and he was one more ridiculous because Helldivers 2 has got these swarms coming at us, and I only had about 30 minutes that I could do it, but it was fun. It was fun. So I have more grizzled tank commander style voice work, or like World War II Allied soldier, Allied sergeant leader, sergeant, mess sergeant, whatever. It's kind of fun. It's a lot of fun. But I see myself having to butt against the best, be it, quote unquote Jim Carrey, Pete Davidson, or whoever. The idea is people that are in there skilled, working their craft to make something of their lives. Obviously, when Pete it comes perhaps to tragedy, or at least that's what we've heard. I don't know the man. He just tries to hit me up for baseball. I have a ball, a thing that revolves around that, or a portion there of that. I dropped the thing though. See, it's because Pete missed me with baseball, so my baseball skill set's still low. It has to do with growing up without a dad, and I lost mine when I was 4, and then the headline means I know very little about this guy. I know very little about him. I've seen a movie, I've seen a little bit of the comedy, kind of, very little bit. Obviously we don't, well maybe we do. I shouldn't say obviously, but I don't actually have a personal relationship with these people. Just in case you don't know. Just in case, you don't know. Why would I not? He could be knocking at my door right now. He could be looking at me. He could be over here like busting himself up. I got Pete Davis right there. I got Jim Carrey's over laughing his ass up. I got Jerry Seinfeld's pissed. Apparently I didn't cite him enough. I didn't give him credit for just stealing his videos. I don't know why I did this one. That was the joke earlier. The commentary. Stole your video. If you care, you're kind of a jerk. If you don't care, or you're happy that at least I saw it, then you're an artist. That's the commentary there. Or not good for my teeth. Anyway. I don't. Not yet right now, anyway. But not that I couldn't. When I was 12, 13, I was pushing over these comics. I mentioned getting the comedy channel and having comedy routines, and when I was 12, 13, I got the comedy channel 12. And I remember being, I think, 13 the year I turned 13, seeing Mitch Hedberg's set. He was the one that was funny for me. And maybe a few moments of a few other, but he's a whole set that I really liked, and it was sublime for me. And I was 13, and for me, I was pushing over the other comics by way of knowing what the joke was going to be before the joke hit, and usually it wasn't very good, or it was a subtle variation on something I already had, and therefore it was better, and therefore funny, but usually it's like work I already saw, work I could see while I was building, work I didn't think was funny, so I'd already done it myself, stuff like that. As an 11, 12-year-old boy, and these people 2-3 times my age were getting paid to do this, and I'm like, I could push over these comics, I could effectively push over Robin Williams in time and practice, but why? And that was the thing. When I was 13, I'm like, but why? I didn't have a why of it, and now I do. Why now is schizoaffective disorder? Why now is suicidal ideations and the loss of my dad? Why now is being alone into the world, and yet still having value, intrinsic worth, and hope. And hope is the glimmer. It is distant, it is faint, but it is there. And people shouldn't be hoping in me, but they should see some semblance of a person who's fighting because I am, and someone who's making it because overall I am. I have this bit on making it in 12 months before somebody who so much is conceived in a wealth and variety of data sets coming to find out that they've been more or less fucking around. But as far as me, I'm doing swimmingly. And I came to that while I was walking home for the 3 hours, walking home from of all days Christmas into Christmas evening to the night after Christmas, and it was 5 in the morning, and I was walking for the last 3.5 hours or so. home from the hospital, walking home. Just spending my Christmas Eve there. And that's life. And I realized the data set that articulated the probability of where I'd be every day of my life thereafter, 12 months before I was conceived, or all the wealth of information variable to anybody, the world, to probabilistically confirm, given how people behave, where I would be based on information given the day of my birth, until now indicates I'm actually doing really freaking well. But for most people, I'm saying they don't fight as hard as I do, because they were given too much more, kind of a thing. That's what they comment is, you've been freaking around. But as far as me, I'm doing swimmingly. Like, you're a failure compared to me. But people see me as a failure instead because of missing teeth, or poor health, or because I have free income. Social Security disability income is not free income. Or free home, and HUD housing, home inc, or what I have, is not a free home. Doesn't really work like that. If you want to trade my life story for yours, 1, you're not getting it from me. 2, I like me and where I am. And 3, that's absurd, ridiculous, cruel, and bullshit. You do not want for the idyllic home picture where the 85% majority functions well enough in their home, or let's just say 2/3, or let's just say 1/2, 1 out of 2 people function well enough in their home, given reality, given all the data sets we have on that, given truth. Most homes are functional enough, even if there's divorce. In 1 in 2 homes there's divorce. Yeah, when they study divorce and affect the children, is that most parents co-parent well enough that the child has an upset, and then within the year the upset more or less maintains, and it sucks for the moment, but the child is healthy. In most divorce homes, the child is healthy. In most divorce homes, the child is healthy. In most divorce homes, the children are still healthy. That's the research, as I came into it. Not as the researcher, but as the person who researches the aggregate studies of the studies of studies, therefore after the fact. And that was the commentary there, and that was documented as academic when I came across it anyway. It's true to my experience of seeing it. It may have been falsified since then, but that's only because it's been falsified since then. I'm not going to falsify my memory. Not in this one. I'd have to see how it was that I was wrong first. Someone just talking to me, alright, good, they're going to show me that evidence. Oh, okay, what I'm referencing is here, 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 and it was true for this period, and this is what you mean, and it's marginally different. Yeah. Something like that. Anyway, the point is that I'm fighting, and when I was 12, 13, I'm not going to see, like, those things as being valuable. I'm just going to see, okay, I'm funny by comparison to these people, but here's a dozen comics I know of from, you know, modern day, which would have been like Adam Sandler and Chris Farley, David Spade's group, to, well, it was a little bit after that group, obviously, but those are the ones I've been thinking of. The SNL group, core group. I was still after those group, that group was older than me, good deal. Of course, Chris Farley hadn't come to pass before I even, you know, knew it was awareness, I think. No, it's not true. He was a headline. I've never seen the headline, I think, in the grocery store. And I've been knowing to talk to about anything like that. Headlines from famous people, but even headlines from people in my life. It would just be the you, me, me, you, me, you conversation between the 2 adults in my life. And they wouldn't include me, even when somebody close to me, Joyce McClurley, died of cancer. And I knew she was sick of cancer, and I was wondering about it, and I found out from them talking to each other. They didn't turn to me and give me a moment of solace or comfort. That's how hurt and messed up the people were in my life, so they didn't think of talking to the child who had a close personal relationship with an older woman who was like their grandmother, and the grandmother in my life didn't think of it. The mom in my life didn't think of it. I just went through it alone. And I wasn't the only one. Multiple times. And then seeing a headline about Chris Farley having died. Or later on as a teen in Dealeo for music videos and her work. Seeing that on BET when it happened live. It was like midnight, just past midnight or something, and I was playing a game in the office room. We had an office at that time, at the 3rd bedroom in the apartment. And I was playing a borrowed pirated copy, or borrowed, sorry, I said the wrong word, a borrowed internet copy of Motocross Madness, and the levels extend out forever, at least seemingly forever, so I could just kind of like jump this motorbike and play with the physics of it, and it was kind of cool, just kind of chill vibing or whatever. It was like midnight or something. Probably wasn't supposed to be up, but nah, whatever. And then seeing on the BET the ticker scroll that she had died. Plane crash. Just like, how does somebody like that, with all the potential in their life, fall victim to something like an unskilled pilot that would do that? Or a pilot that would be that full of, you know, I couldn't think of how that would happen. And I couldn't think of how 12, 13, if I'm pushing over their comics, I could be a comic or be in the entertainment field. when people put it to me that I could be wealthy, it was because of mathematics and my ability set in school and academics. And now I'm never being 11 or so and thinking, I don't want my children afraid, or thereabouts thinking. I wasn't thinking to this level and to this experience, but I didn't want to be wealthy. This is more or less the idea that I had. I don't want my children to be afraid of who their friends are. I don't want to have to move with security teams and live behind gates. And I don't want to have multiple homes or rooms in a home that I don't occupy. Least of all do I clean. When I was that age, I cleaned. Like when I was 7, when I was 4, 5, 6, I was helping out as much as my body could manage. And by the year I turned 8, I was already cleaning up the rooms in the apartment, except for, you know, the room, master room, and its bathroom, my parents' room. And I did everything else, except like some surfaces and some appliances and stuff like that. I didn't really, but most everything else. The kitchen multiple times a day and stuff like that. My bedroom in full detail, bathroom, and so I thought about that. I don't want to have rooms I don't even use. Why? Yeah. I want to have a quaint life, kind of a thing. And that's something I'm thinking back then. I wanted to use those as descriptors for it. And video games, you know, can be a great source of good. Obviously, my work with Godot, what I want to get into, I got to the part where I named the project, and I opened it up and I saw the 3D field, and then it all just hit me. So I got to like minute number 2.5, or button click number 4, I think. 2.5 in like a Free Code Academy video, or Free Code Camp. I think it's Free Code Camp. Let's take a look here. Yes, it is freecodecamp.org on Godot, which is a premier game editor that hit its Blender moment as far as best as I can tell. Relative Vostok ported from Unity, bye-bye Unity, into Godot. Godot hit 4.0, 4.2 I think is where it's at stable. I think 4.2 something. My copy's like 4.22. Duka Duka 4.21 stable, so 4.22 might be out right now. So if you're interested in game design and have anything of a system at all, don't worry about the giant install of Unreal 5 and Epic Games Launcher, or whatever you need for that these days. Don't worry about Unity and how Unity shot itself in the foot one year and the next year it shot itself again. And you're like, what the hell are they even talking about? Even if their press releases are talking this way, who cares what they really do? Their press release says this kind of thing. Then get into Unity or get into Godot if you have any interest at all. Not because this guy's clueless says it, but because this guy who is clueless until he goes out and researches the crap out of something, and all these videos about it are highly praiseworthy and highly positive. So go spend some time looking at people who would know what they have to say about it, or spend 1 hour, you know, walking through a Free Code Academy video, a Free Code Camp video on it, or one of the paid sites like Udemy or something for the introductory offer of whatever they want to spend on you, or whatever you want to spend. $15 I think will get you something good. There you go. But that for me, see, I wanted routine, and I don't know how to do work comedy routine for like 90-80% of my time, at least working. I don't even know how to have a work day of 8 hours. So my whole day to me is supposed to be work. And when you think about it, you would think that, okay, you get money however you get it, you have a home however you get it, so your whole day is yours, right? No, my whole day is like work in my head, whether I know to work or not, and it's overbearing and it's crippling actually. 7 days a week, my brain is like, okay, work, get off of state income, get real healthcare, get off of state income, get real healthcare, let's get a job, let's get a real life, then I can have friends, and my friends, I can be dating, when I'm dating, I have my life, and I have kids, and I'm turning 40 in like 6 months. But that's been my whole life. And I haven't even dated since high school, and I haven't finished my 2-year degree despite putting in 15 years worth of credits and effort. You see straight A's, and then W for 4 classes, or 5 if I have a lab. And I test into calculus. I test into English 101, 102, and it's my physical body pain when I take classes. I test into chemistry 1, chemistry 2. I don't have to take chemistry 1, I don't have to take English 1. I need to take Chem 2, English 2. English 2 for a paper. I spent 40 hours writing a simple 2-page paper that my classmates spent the previous day reading the material for and then writing overnight or something. You know? I don't even know the material. I have auxiliary material that I bring in that has nothing to do with the assignment initially. I have it myself, and I rewatch it, or reread it, or refamiliarize myself with it and cite it. That's what I do. So I did a North Korean pastor going back into North Korea for a paper for one paper. I cited Google opposite special weapons and training tactics team for organizational purposes, for how they organize themselves as to type A, type B, type organizational structure for another paper. Like, I bring in references, I bring in sources of things from all over the world, you know. Next one will be for the Anatolia steppes, for all I know, like something I could reference right now if I had to. Turkey's Anatolia steppes in the film work I've seen. You know, another one, Mongolia's. Compare and contrast Mongolia versus Turkey. Let's go. I get bored for a moment on the weekend. I spend 90 minutes on a Cornell-provided slide deck to check Cornell's math on the gig economy. True story. Cornell reports that the gig economy affords us low-quality jobs or low-wage, low-benefit jobs. True. No kidding. And we don't care about your friend who has a good, high-paying gig economy job because it depends so far upon those data sets provided 12 months before they were so much as conceived, and come to find out, the summation thereof of it would indicate they've been frickin' around. So life could be far, far more swimmingly like mine is, going far, far more swimmingly like mine is. Like, so what? Your friend has a great gig economy job. The report is all of them. And yours is, well, people don't do it right. Well, if people don't do it right, and you acknowledge people don't do it right, then the job needs to be regulated, because how people's behavior is by default will lead to their ruin, and you saying that's personal choice, personal responsibility is idiotic and stupid of what is actually your choice to infer that information is somehow incumbent upon the person to therefore, like, do things that are undamn well natural. It's like blaming people for having sex. It really is, because all persons have it, and if you want to be of the nature and material of a person, then you need to be absolutely perfect, the epitome thereof it, and you're not God. You're probably not the 1.25% of people that haven't had sex before they're married. You're probably not the person who doesn't have a perfect job report. You're probably not the person who even has an audit of your money. You probably can't even tell me where your money's coming from and where it's going with accuracy, let alone your time, your emotional and relational resources. The three things: money, time, people in your life. Money, time, people in your life. You probably have a bullshit ass report of those things. Those are the people sound like to me. Well, if that's how people behave, they should be punished for it. Oh, I feel like that's true. Let's start with an example set, perhaps that we could create a rule set together, and then apply you first to that rule set. Let's see how you do. Well, they have the hubris to want to do that, and then be trapped in eternity of finding out what that is. Or just laughing, scoffing, rolling their eyes, and dismissing it, which is what would actually happen. Not that we have the ability to put somebody in an eternity of that, now they're locked into it. Or the reality is they just laugh, roll their eyes back, roll their head back, and just go, yeah, right. Yeah, right, that was your setup, not mine. There's no talking with those kinds of people in those moments. That's a moment for them, they're stuck in that moment, there's no moving on. They move themselves or they die there, that's it. Something happens and they change or different over time, but that's how they die. That's it. Yeah. I have my own versions of that. We all do. For better or for worse. Coming up to an hour now. I think I'm gonna start including comedy bits and stuff like that. So video games, its value to me in Godot and storytelling, I want to do narrative based. I have the 1920s era. They're made men, wise guys, but they're not made men because they've taken somebody out first. They're boys that grew up and they sell products or goods or food items and crates thereof, and they have an inventory, and that's how they grew up into it. They're just running on their bikes basically, you know, packages and just delivering whatever they were delivering. And now they deliver whatever they deliver. They don't ask any questions about it. But the idea is that it's all food stores, foodstuffs, and then goods instead of goods. They don't provide any service. Their service is to move goods in crates and store them and move them with little spaces they have. They don't ask any questions. They don't do any perform any hits. It's never about any of that. It's about life, love, growing up as a man, and growing up in a time absent of good men because they're being pulled into war in World War II and before that World War I. It's about Isonzo, it's about Denenberg, it's about Verdun. However you would probably say in reference to those places. That I know from game series titled Isonzo, Denenberg, and Verdun. Can't wait till they come up with the next one. They had 5.5 thousand players on a free weekend. I didn't even play that weekend. Ugh. I was going through it. I saw that it was free to play, and I'm like, oh, I'm going through it, so I'm not going to be playing, but still. And it's like 500 players. Isonzo does. And it's good. It's like attack, milsim, first person, more so than what Battlefield did with Battlefield 1. But people would think, well, I'll just play Battlefield 1. It's like, yeah, so you can do what? Go with the Automatico? Has that been patched yet? So you can fly, jump out of the plane, shoot with a bazooka, the other plane, continue flying your plane and go into a tank. Yeah, it's awesome and fun. But this is the other version of that, where it's more tactical. Not quite milsim, but it's more tactical and thoughtful. You can still do really well with the game. So we knocked around by some of the players who I thought of as hackers, but I don't think they're hacking at all. They have some video of them playing well. There's no real evidence they're hacking, they're just really good players, that's all. And these boys growing up in that environment see baseball change into the real world for them. They see baseball coming up for the next generation. They protect baseball, like youth, innocence, purity, being a child. They protect that for a kid growing up called Terrence Two Plates. And the world will see Terrence Two Plates as stealing 2 plates, but they know that Terrence is hungry for 2 plates to bring home to his family. But first, he doesn't even eat himself. So his first 2 plates are just him eating because he's starving. And then the guy sees that he needs to take home food to his family because he always takes it home to them and doesn't eat, and that's why he's starving. He tells them that he's eating, kind of a thing. And they see the good of the kid, and they want to get him baseball because their baseball is taken, so they could, you know, still survive. And this kid's surviving, they see in Terrence, and Terrence is based on a person named Terrence. And me being homeless at the time. This guy, this kid who's younger than me, comes up to the gate while I'm working in the kitchen that day for that little over a week. And his bus stop transfer from work to there allowed like an 8-minute window that day. And he looks up, he's like, got anything left? Do I still have time or whatever? Because the window is up, that means he actually does. And I look at him like, Terrence, if I could, I'd give you 2. And if we have leftovers, we can. Terrence, 2 plates. What did I hear about Sergio, the driver? I came up with that, those people while looking at a video game, at a game board called Risk, and having green. And when I was placing green, I realized green like paper, like money, like ledgers. Paper comes from green trees, money green, paper green, ledgers green. Bobby dropped tables in the commentary that came in a Web 2.0 social aggregate news website of a Web 2.0 compliant model, or Reddit for short. Grandpa enjoys being a nerd, he revels in it. I'm not even a nerd by nerd standards, I'm just like a person who knows what Wikipedia is, kind of a thing. Grandpa feels like his nerd status isn't challenged. Is in question. CHADMicDUP, we're gonna bring her to a close here in a minute. We can talk about Bobby drop tables and Bobby books. Bobby pushing the tables in the world that I created are the chart ledgers he has in his mind. But we'll talk about Bobby later. Because he pushes a bike, moving crates of food, and he knows the real timings of if a car is passing this way and he can't make this exchange, he's got to keep moving and going around. He'll lose some time, not as much as if he waited. So he has like a ledger in his head of how much time interfaces everything does and how much he can actually load on his bike and all this kind of stuff. And I want to make that into something you can actually play and see and do and play as a game. Dealeo, but I guess we'll talk about that next time. I'll do something to look forward to. That's something that would be cool. Me looking forward to talking again. I look forward to talking in general, but my topic next time I guess will be a little bit of my game world. It says later tonight, but it's already pushing into 4, it'll be kind of late. I'm gonna end up doing it at 10, 11, we'll see. I'm gonna play my game a bit, wanted to start my book. I started Rebecca again, I think it's the 4th time I started Rebecca, and I'm sitting opposite an audiobook, which I bought through Audible. Now I have through borrowing it through the internet, which is also Audible's or Amazon's copy. But I'm not using the copy that I had because I can't log back into Amazon because of whatever friggin' reason. And I bought it using the trial anyway, like the startup trial. You know how like Netflix will give you a free month so you could like change your email and get it again and again and again. That's what I would do. I get my free books on Audible, got a few of them. But I wasn't able to ever listen to them. Like I tried and I get to like the 15, 20, 30 minute mark. It's the best I could do. One book I spent 5 hours on the first hour. Utopia by Sir Thomas More. That was for school in 2012. I spent 5 hours trying to listen to read and listen at the same time. Excuse me, the first hour of that book, and I realized I spent 5 hours getting 1 hour into that book. And I'm like, I need to take a break right now. I never came back to it. I was sick actually at the same time too. And instead I tried to play a little bit of Dark Souls so I couldn't sleep. And I had Dark Souls waiting on the PC, which was a big event when Dark Souls made it to the PC anyway. There was actually part of a petition to get that game to move on. And the community's like, yo, let's start a change.org petition. They had tens of thousands of signatures as a show that we will buy this game. Please port it to PC. We'll play your game and we will buy it. Yes, we will. And it blew up and got huge. Pretty big on PlayStation, I guess. Demon Souls and the Dark Souls, and I had Dark Souls copy waiting for me. Again, a borrowed copy, but I'll just say. Anyway, I can talk and talk. So, from games to quality of life, and quality of life into games is the expression of the thing, and gaming for Godot is different than me trying to play with these guys, Teddy and company, trying to play Helldivers 2, where I can use voice work, but I can use voice work to make the game, and the game could be something expressive. And it's instead of just knocking over comics, and why would I bother? Because with quality of life, being true to myself in comedy is that I'm the guy with schizoaffective on his forehead. I'm the guy whose father ended his life when I was 4 years old. That's tragic, yes. And I kept going, I kept fighting, and I had all suicidal ideations. I just saw Anna Canna go into the ghost of her own, not personally live, but in a clip, and she mentioned hearing the voice of somebody telling her you should end your life, you should kill yourself, I'll show you how to do it. And she makes a joke about mansplaining, and it nailed, it killed, and I thought, wow, to go inside your ghost and to kill it. Damn. To kill it on set and to fight your ghost at the same time. Does it sound like that? It doesn't sound like that. I've sparred people. It doesn't sound like that. Usually they were doing it to me. CHADMicDUP. It has been Saturday. It's 3:40 my time, Arizona time, Saturday, February. I'm going to click the little button here. And by clicking the button, I find out, one, it's February 17th, and two, that I demonstrate how to interact with a piece of media, or at least not a piece of media, but how you can interact. If you like this video and you found some value, utility in it, give it to, whatever, the local, regional, web, whatever compliant model of social networking engagement. That would be a thumb, a heart, an up. If you didn't, a down. Please include a Y, perhaps. You can make a random character. You can Mojik yourself a random name. And Mojik is a web search, in case you don't know, an M-O-J-E-K. And what a web search is, it is not an adware, malware delivery content network that steals your images, that steals your own emails, that steals the content you create for it and claims someone that it's theirs and not yours. I don't know what you're thinking. You must be thinking about some other guy. Not Mojik. And you can perform a Mojik and do a web search for a generation utility of random words, or perhaps a random word generator. And come up with a name that's nothing to do with much of anything, and then throw that one out there as your account name using, fake email or non-existent email. And you have an account name. Now you can leave a comment. I feel a little embarrassed or whatever. I don't know. Let me know if it's because you stuck around. Like, honestly, if you stuck around to this point, why? That's the why of it. That's how this is. I stuck around this point to see if Chad would bother to figure out that his hands are in frame or not, depending on how he moves. When his left is his right is his left, whatever. Well, congratulations, you found it. I still don't know how to do that. But that's why I do this, and I don't edit them yet, because I do edit. I do the recap portion, and I edit that one. I do it enough times that I got just a minute, and then I edit it down using I Snapchat to make it, because I know it's going to be quick and easy to do. And I just cut it there, and then I cut from Snapchat and I put it into InShot to label the things, and then get it up on my phone. I'll talk about what I talked about. So it's something. That's the routine of it. That's why I do this now. We've gone well over an hour. For CHADMicDUP, I'm going to demonstrate how to interact with a piece of media by tapping on the left mouse button when I end this video. This is a Logitech. I right-clicked it. Anyway, you understand where the left mouse button is. In about 5 seconds here, coming out, Stream Beats, House Heller, off the album, Low Key. CHADMicDUP. We'll see you.